Hi, Dyslexic Genius here. I'm back on this unique, very early Columbia motor, and I want to talk about the reassembly. I've put two new springs in it, and the first one was riveted together by Uncle Bubba. And then Uncle Bubba tried to fix the center one and tried to rivet it too, and I guess that didn't work. But I've done this. What's unique about it is, you see the spindle shaft drive gear here, this big gear here that runs the spindle shaft, that fits in between these two barrels. And really the hardest part of this motor is putting the center shaft through the two spring barrels, the shaft that the spring barrels ride on. And you have a spacer here, which is the bigger one, because they're two different sizes. And then on the ratchet side, you have the smaller one. And you have to go through all three springs and the center arbor of the spring connector. So this is all floating around in the inside like this. And it gets kind of irritating maybe to some people like this. But what you do is the shaft only drives in from the ratchet paw side, which will be right here on my right hand. So you have to center this spacer washer with the center of this arbor, this gear, and this has an arbor that goes through it. And then on the outside here, we have an arbor that goes in this way, and on this side, we have an arbor that goes in this way for these two springs. So you have to hit all of these holes together. So what you do is I put the nut on the end of this arbor because this is the way it goes in. And I put this nut on. So if this is the screw and this is the nut, you want the nut, my hand's the nut, you don't want it like that, you want it like this. So I can tap it a little. And really what you have to do is first is get through here, through that little washer into this first arbor. And you just take the spring barrels and you kind of work them, move them around a little, and then it'll fit a little, and then you just move them and give this a little tap, and you're going to go move around, boom, and it's going to pop in. Then you're going to lock this nut down tight, and on this side with a ratchet paw, this can't be too tight. It has to be able to float. So you'll see it lock. If you get this too tight, it doesn't flip up to catch on the ratchet. The motor runs extremely quiet. It cranks in about 6 cranks. Here we go. Slow down a little. But what I'm going to show you is you're hearing noise from the shop bench here. And when I pick this up, listen. Quiet. And it's running extremely smooth. You know, this hobby's a lot of fun. I still have to grease the spindle shaft and the gear, but I wanted to point this uniqueness out of this motor. You know, it's a lot of fun to work on, and that's my tip for the day.